Hey guys, welcome back to Ollie Talks Airsoft. In today's video, we're actually going to be going over something that a few people have requested. Now, I'd previously done a video all about how to install the nozzle into the Tokyo Marui MWS bolt, but there is a part of this that everyone kind of, that isn't really very clear and people struggle with, and myself included, I struggle with this bit as well, and it is connecting these parts. So I thought in this video, what we'd do is just show you up close, like where the pins should actually go, because it can be a bit confusing, because especially on this end we've got like multiple holes. Why do you have multiple holes in there, and which one are you supposed to put your pins through? So you're going to see exactly where you're supposed to put the pins. And also not all manufacturers kind of do the same thing, and it's kind of annoying, and there are a couple of manufacturers that kind of do a little bit better in my opinion on this. So you'll see that for the most part I'm using DP stuff. So it used to be UAC, and they split as far as I know and became Cow and Dynamic Precision, but the Dynamic Precision actually come with most of the stuff that you would need to actually build a bolt from scratch. So if you're like me and you've picked up something like this, like a Howell bolt, then you need to fill it and you need to make it work in your MWS. And in order to do that, it's not just going to be a nozzle that you need to buy, unless you buy a complete nozzle, but you're still probably going to have other things that you need to purchase in order to get a fully functional second bolt. The other kind of reason for making this video is at some point, whether it be in the first 100 rounds or after 10,000 rounds, your nozzle return spring will break. So this kind of shows you basically how to do how to swap it out. So all you'll need basically to do this is like a hammer and either a punch, or I hate to say it, I've just used the appropriately sized Allen keys before and just given them a smack. Yeah, it's not pretty, but it works, and you kind of usually only have to do it once. So once you've assembled that that spring, you should be fine. Now, basically none of mine have this little orange tube or a little rubber tube inside. And I know that the standard Tokyo Marui MWS comes with one, and most of the aftermarket packs that you buy will come with a little rubber tube. It's really annoying to put it in, and I've actually like bent the spring before by putting it in, and actually not having it in, I've not had any problems. I've not had the springs break, and I've used Guns Modify, I've used GMP, and I've used DP and UAC I think before. So they've all worked fine, and I've not had a need to actually replace them. The only nozzle spring that ever broke was the original Tokyo Marui one. So as soon as you upgrade it, you're kind of done. The only other thing, yeah, like I said, the reason I've kind of made this is so that those people that are wanting to do a bolt like from scratch, that you kind of just don't forget anything, because there are a lot of parts to remember. And yeah, sometimes you'll be like, oh look, this says it's a nozzle spring set, but it maybe won't have a couple of the springs that you need, because it doesn't class maybe this spring on top to be part of the nozzle spring. So, you know, it's like you've got different, it's annoying. It's a bit of a minefield. So yeah, hopefully this video is going to help you out. I hope it's going to save you money and stop you from buying things that you don't need to buy, because I am looking down on a desk of things, many of which will never get used. I have a bunch of different nozzle return springs, which I don't think look, Guns Modify's old packaging versus their new. Let's get into just a little bit of top down about how we kind of like, yeah, where the pins go and stuff like that. And then I'm not going to bore you with like reassembling the nozzle, because we've already done a video on that, so I don't want to waste your time. You can just have a look. I will link it up here now, so, and I'll put it at the end of the video as well, and in the description and all the stuff like that. Okay, I think that is it. Right, let's go. Okay, so let's just go over what you actually need. So you'll see here that you've got most of the parts that you're going to need. You do not actually have a rocket valve in there, and you do not have a rocket valve spring. So you would need something like this as well. We've got your rocket valve spring. It would also give you another spare one of these springs here. Slightly annoying. The DP one is one of the only ones that actually comes with the two pins, which you'll need to basically assemble this spring set. So you'll also need a sealing rubber. Now, I found these DP green ones to be really good. You've also got your locking piece for the back of the bolt, whatever your chosen nozzle is, and your the piece that goes on the top, like the gas key kind of thing. First things first, this is the bit that people really want to know about, assembling this part here. Okay, so this is all the parts that you get laid out. You get your O-ring, a couple of pins, and you get this part. You can choose to put this in, it's not essential, but I'm just not going to bother. Okay, so let's talk about how this actually goes together. So you've got one part here. When it's actually assembled in the nozzle, that's where the screw actually goes through, and you've actually got one of these pins. We just need to go through this hole here, and it should go through there, and it should capture one of these loops here. The other end, pretty similar. You've got another of these pins, and it goes through like this. So let's just go ahead and do that now. Okay. Right, that is one half attached. Let's do the same on this. Just give it a tiny bit. I'm sure people say not to do this, but it's so difficult to do if you don't. I know this looks like it's made of plastic, but it's not. It's actually made of metal, so you can give it a bit. Why are you trying to twist? Okay, so yeah, basically you hammer that part, and once you've got this bit together, just have a look at the nozzle guide, and that explains to you exactly how you put it all back together. And it's really, once you've done it, as I said. Okay, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope this has helped you out, and you're not gonna now punch holes in things in the wrong places and stuff. But yeah, if you need any more hints or tips on this, then obviously drop it in the comments down below. I've seen that Revanchist have just bought out an adjustable nozzle, so I'm really tempted to check that out. And I don't know if they're still available, but for a short time Rainbow 8 actually had Tokyo Marine original MWS mag lips. So yeah, every so often, it's a bit of a tricky one. You don't want to have to keep on looking out for these things, but if you keep looking at things like JK Army or Rainbow 8 or places like that, then they do refresh their stock quite often. They recently had some AKM mags. I don't know where they find these things from. They probably only had 20 or 30. I don't currently need any, but I know that there's people out there that do. So just keep an eye on those websites. They all kind of stock at different times. In my experience, for MWS related stuff, JK Army will have it first. They will have it early doors, as will WGC Shop. They're early doors ones. Rainbow 8 tend to get their stuff a couple of months later, or a month later. So there was a bit, when was it? 6 months ago, when there were some AKM mags that came into stock at JK, and everyone kind of jumped and bought them. And I finally got my two delivered from Eagle 6. But anyway, I noticed that none came into stock on Rainbow 8. I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe they just didn't get it fulfilled. They just didn't get the stuff sent through. But then it was a month or so later, a bunch just appeared on Rainbow 8. So I think that either they just maybe don't update their stock as often or something like that, or I don't know. I just don't know how they operate. But it's just because something's just been released and you've checked all the websites and they've, for the time being, they've all sold out, some of them get delayed stock. So keep checking some of the other websites, because these things just do appear. I couldn't believe that I managed to get some original mag lips. I managed to get a Type 89 nozzle. I got two Type 89 nozzles not that long ago, because I was still searching because I wanted replacements, and they came in stock. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, get one, get a spare. So I'll have to do a video all about fitting those shortly, because I still haven't fitted it, I haven't done it yet. But yeah, it's just a note, keep looking out on those websites, like keep refreshing the pages, and if it's something that's like got an out of stock notification, like put it on there, like get your email on there, and they'll send you a notification when it's back in stock. But some other stuff you just don't know, like you just don't know about it, so you've got to kind of like keep trawling, see what's new, see what's exciting. That's what I do. That's how I try and get some of the coolest stuff. Okay, I really want to get, there's one thing that is like, it's ridiculous because I don't use the one that I have, but I really want it. You can now get 5KU do a shotgun tracer. Yeah, they do like 3 different sizes, and you know, they're all sort of like the same length, but the actual like diameter size for the inner bore. So one of them's for like breachers, one of them's for like TM M870 longs and like seamers and stuff like that, and then they do one other size. So I'd be tempted to go for the larger size because you can always sort of shim it down. But yeah, a shotgun tracer, like it's there, you can just buy it now. I know that people have made these in the past, and I've always seen them and gone like, that's so cool. Yeah, you can just buy them now for 5KU. I think they were like £55, which I thought was, for a shotgun tracer, that's pretty good. I thought so anyway. So right guys, sorry, it's been too long since I've done a video, so that's why I'm starting to waffle on a bit. But I'm still I'm trying to edit like so much stuff at the moment. It's like absolutely like killing my computer, and it's taking up like loads of time because there's just, I want to get everything right. I want to be right about everything. I'm not. Like, I'm not like by no means perfect. But I love testing stuff, and you know, bringing the results to you is like one of my favourite things to do. So I do want to make sure that it's all in order. And you know what? I'm kind of motivated. I'm kind of tempted to do malfunction project. I've been editing hot project stuff, and now I feel like talking about the malfunction stuff. Because like some of the footage that I did for my hot project is all kind of like, everything happens at the same time. It's not like I sort of sit down and do one thing. It's like, well, while I'm doing my hot project, it's also testing for malfunctions, and it's testing for things like when I'd like modified one set of feed lips, and it started causing additional malfunctions, but it only happened when I changed to smaller BBs. So where, you know, when I changed to like Jeffs, which as if you follow the channel, you know Jeffs are like on the smaller side of BBs. When I switched over to them, I was getting like double feeds, but like a pure double feed, not like bolt bounce or anything like that. Like a genuine, yeah, super weird. Don't know, well, I do know why it was happening. It's because I modified the mag lips and did it too far. And it's such like a fine art getting it just right. And it turns out it's not even worth it. Like, that's the thing. Like, when I think I told a couple of people that, right, I'm going to do this video all about how to modify your mag lips. But in the course of like testing how all those modifications were going, I came across other ways of fixing the problem, which don't really lead to any malfunctions, and so there's like less downsides to it. So that's my new like suggestion. So all the filming that I done of me like cutting away at mag lips and modifying a few, that's all in the trash. I will have to do a video where I kind of show you kind of what I did and like the mistakes that I've made, but it at least heartens me to know that like I'm making these mistakes. I know that loads of you guys are kind of hanging fire on like doing things like modifying mag lips, to wait to hear what I say about it, and the fact that I'm messing stuff up and that, you know, I'm doing these modifications and things are going wrong, and I kind of think that's really good, because I'm now finding ways around the problem which don't involve anywhere near the same kind of like invasive procedure. That's what we'll call it, yeah. You know, no kind of invasive procedures. And ultimately, like, you know, the problem that I explained in my, what was it, when me and Alex did like the knowledge drop, about like spacing the upper and lower receivers and having the bolt riding slightly higher, like that's all stuff that, you know, this Howe bolt diffuser, it does kind of hold the bolt further down in the receiver, but the way that one of these bolts actually works is It's all to do with the gas key riding inside the charging handle. And this gas key is made of plastic and it wears down. And also you get aftermarket charging handles. And it's like, if you've changed either your charging handle or, you know, you've just noticed this happen over time, like over time, if you've had your MWS for like a couple of years and you use it all the time, or even 6 months, but you're using it like, you know, like midweek and like for a couple of days at the weekend, like you're constantly using it, then yeah, in 6 months you can wear it's a gas key / nozzle guide, but you can wear the top of this nozzle guide down and you can look on the top of it and you'll see where the wear patterns happened. And if you get your charging handle, pull it out and look on the inside, it'll be polished, you know, and that's all because this plastic, this wearable material, is going against a much harder material. And that's kind of like where most of the actual wear happens. So kind of like this Howell bolt diffuser, yeah, it's good, and it, you know, it's cheap as well. It costs like £5, so like what, $6-7 or something like that. So it's not expensive. It doesn't stick hugely well. You have to have a super clean, super dry surface in order to get this to stick properly and work. But if you buy one of their bolts, then it comes attached. I'm not gonna like try and peel it up or anything. I want to keep it on here. But I have managed to attach one onto another bolt just by sticking it, and that was kind of okay. And I attached one onto another bolt, but I ended up like running the tiniest amount of super glue down it, and that's on my original TM bolt. I think that oil has like seeped its way into the like kind of softer metal, and that's why just nothing really wants to stick to it. So the super glue seems to be working. I'm a bit worried that this is a part that like could come off inside the upper receiver, and I really don't want that to happen, because that's, I mean, it shouldn't cause any like major problems. Like, it's just going to get like a bit chewed up and stuff, and I'll just have to pull it out. But I'd rather it didn't. But actually, yeah, when you look at kind of the wear patterns and stuff that are happening on the gas key or on the nozzle guide, that is kind of more telling. So if you've had your MWS for a while, or you've shot it loads, and you're starting to notice that your most common malfunction is actually BBs not being picked up, then some of it may be to do with actually your nozzle guide wearing down. And I've been using this Guns Modify nozzle guide, and it's okay. It's a Guns Modify nozzle guide, but there is still a tiny bit of up and down movement there in the nozzle. So I've got a KF1 to test out, and so I'm going to see, because obviously this is what controls the bolt being forced down in the receiver and sitting at a good level. But actually you also don't particularly want a lot of up and down movement in the nozzle itself, because again, if it moves up too far, it can slide over the top of the BBs, and ultimately like the main failure that you're going to get is like a failure to feed. After that you get double feeds, and double feeds is definitely going to happen if you modify your mag lips. So by way of an example, let's just, we're doing this, we're doing it. This is it. This is the culprit mag. So you know it's the culprit mag because it's got tape on it. So right, let's get some gas into it first. Right. Firstly, I kind of want to fill this with like standard BBs. I actually don't know I don't know what's in here, but I will be able to tell very quickly by what happens in a moment. So this should never happen on a gas mag. So there we go, we're fine. So this is modified mag lips, where I've like cut the insides and cut the tops a bit so the BBs sit higher. This feeds amazingly on slightly larger BBs. So I'm going to quickly get these out of here. Always iPro, always. Put my laptop down so I don't shoot it as well, because that would be terrible. Okay, right, whatever, I've got the sling all over the shop. That was a bit of a double feed, kind of, so that was basically the last rounds there. Let me just make sure that the breech is clear, and it was. Okay, right. Thank you, Gunny. Now, let's get some Jeff's Super Precision. In fact, no, let's use XL, because we know that these are the smallest BBs, that it's going to illustrate the point the best, basically. Just talk amongst yourselves. Right, now, yeah, so basically I had this on my hot project footage. There was, when I was using this mag, it was doing this like super weird, literally double feed but firing 2 shots at a time. Right, BB's in here, now let's try it. Did you see that? I certainly saw that. That was about 15 BBs just shot out the top of my mag there. Oh no, that was all of them. That was it. That doesn't really happen with the gas mag. Doesn't happen on gas blowback mags. So like these lips, as much as using them with like G&G BBs seems like absolutely fine, because that's what I like test with here on the table. As soon as I go out into the go out and play games, I'm using Jeffs, which are smaller, and yeah, actually when I use Jeffs, it would lose about half the mag, which is why I was like oh, it shot out half the mag there. Like, because XL are even smaller, that's it, I lost the, like, you touch the mag lips, you lose half your BBs. So, like, at no point am I going to say, like, I recommend that you modify your mag lips, because I just don't. I don't recommend it. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's much more important to focus on the ride height of your bolt and the ride height of your nozzle in the bolt. And those things are going to be most affected, ultimately, like, by your gas key on the top here, and by the inside of your charging handle. So you may have had it where it's like you haven't cleaned your rifle for ages, or you don't clean the inside of the charging handle in the upper receiver, and all of a sudden you give the rifle a good clean and you start getting these malfunctions. It's probably like a bit of dirt and grime have built up in there to like hold everything down and keep everything going steady. My suggestion to you would be get a new nozzle guide, and that's probably going to, like, for the most part, for the most part, and for most people out there, that's probably going to fix your problem. I wouldn't start doing anything else invasive until you've kind of gone down this route. So yeah, I need to do a little bit more testing just to see which of those nozzle guides, because the thing is, different nozzles, despite all being the same, they're not. Like, I prefer the stock TM nozzles. I quite like the DP nozzles. Guns Modify, like, their own nozzles are like fine. So there are a few like good options out there, but I kind of need to like test all of those ones a bit more. But ultimately I'm at the point where, like, other than kind of using this mag, which I've messed up the mag lips on, yeah, nothing's really malfunctioning at the moment. So where necessary, I've attached these HOW things, which seem to, I don't know, it's hard to tell if it's a gimmick, because ultimately what you need to be looking at is your gas key, is your nozzle guide. They're the same thing. So this part here that moves back and forward, that everyone kind of goes, I don't even, like, what's the point of this thing? Well, actually, like, yeah, it does have a purpose, and it keeps your gun feeding really well. There you go. That's just one of those weird things. I do also know that So there's an amazing channel out there, Looney Goons, sorry, I shouldn't just rush it, where he's talked about his friend who got a Mark 18 who was getting some feeding problems, and they actually buffered out like the front of the mag well. There's like a small lip. So what's going to shoot on this one? So what was it? What was it on? No. So it's kind of this very small lip here. So what I'll do is, I think that's it. Yeah, just here. Sorry. Hopefully you can see that. He was saying that they had to kind of put a bit of tape over that to make the mag sit slightly better in the mag well. So I will link his video here because I think it's important that you can't, before you go and do anything inside your MWS, you want to have all the facts and you want to like kind of know what's going on. Again, look, you can see here, so the inside of the charging handle, like on this particular one, if I use a Q-tip, I don't think this has been cleaned for a while, so this is going to be like, oh no, that's not too bad, it's quite dry actually. But yeah, this is the sort of, yeah, if you've recently like changed up your charging handle and you've started to realise that you get misfeed or failure to feed or something like that, try switching back to your original Tokyo Marui one and see if that fixes the problem. If so, this is weirdly, I know you wouldn't think that changing the charging handle would have an effect on something like that, but kind of everything kind of ties into one another. So yeah, definitely be looking at that, and it's all to do with basically like this is the main point of contact. So some free advertising there for Triticon. So in here, where it's actually going to be picking the BBs up, you can see here that we've not got too much movement there. There is a little bit, but actually, yeah, that's still going to, certainly from where I can see, it's still going to be able to strip BBs off. But if you did need to like buffer it down, rather than modifying the mag lips to have the BBs sitting higher, I would probably consider like putting a bit of tape maybe down the inside of the top of the charging handle, just to kind of push everything a little bit further down, because I think that that is a considerably better way to go. And I would much rather be putting a bit of tape onto something rather than taking material off which can't be replaced. So lucky that I found those spare mag lips on Rainbow 8, hey? So yeah, that was a bit of a win for me. Okay, well, okay, this has turned into a bit of a weird video, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you've learned something. Yeah, I'll do a bit more testing. I'll feedback kind of like properly. I just kind of felt like doing a video. That's how it goes. Cool guys, thank you so much for spending your time with me, and hopefully I will see you soon. Any comments, like, or if you've got any thoughts on this, whack them down in the comments. I do read all of them, so if you've got a suggestion or you know something that I don't know, like, every day's a school day for me too. Like, I'm trying to learn here. So yeah, and whatever I find out, I'll, you know, if it's good information, I'll test it and I'll get the information out to you guys in the community. And yeah, let's all not have malfunctions anymore. And I will keep you up to date on the HOP project. But do I drop this now? Yeah, you guys are awesome. Of course I drop it now. Firefly bucking, firefly blue bucking. Wow, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, wow. Yeah, maybe I can just add a tiny little bit of footage to close off. If you enjoy this little bit here, trust me, I'm doing my best to try and get the information out there. But with the hot project, well, it's not going to be like final results, because it's massive. Like, there are thousands of combinations, and I don't have any way that's like indoors, but I did so much. Like, I've done a lot of testing for this, so I'm really looking forward to like bringing you some interesting results. But yeah, check out the performance of the Firefly bucking right here. See you on the next one.